Welcome to Boomer Being. I'm your host, Leslie Noymer. Today's topic is Pilates. My expert guest is Cathy Boullie. Cathy has been teaching Pilates since 2005, as well as exercise fitness since 1999. Cathy is a personal trainer with a home studio and can be found oftentimes teaching in local fitness centers. Cathy's background adds to her effectiveness as a teacher, with a nursing degree from the University of Rochester, as well as a master's in women's health from Simmons College in Boston. So stay tuned for everything you need to know to get started in Pilates, as well as a demonstration of the Pilates Reformer. Welcome, Cathy.
Thank you, Leslie, and thank you for giving me this opportunity to talk about Pilates.
Wonderful. So who was Joseph Pilates, and would you please tell us about his philosophy of exercise?
So Joseph Pilates was born in 1883 in Germany, and he was, as a child, he was sick. He had asthma, rickets, and rheumatic fever. And he decided to overcome his physical ailments through exercise and sports. And he was successful at doing that. And he went on to become a professional boxer. He also did self-defense training and then ended up working in England. While he was in England, World War I happened, and he was placed in an internment camp. While he was in that camp, he continued to do his exercise regimen, and he came up with a name for it called contrology, and that basically meant the science of control. While he was in his bunker with his other members who were also in the camp, he had them all do his exercises daily. And the legend of Pilates is that those of the people that were in that bunker, when the flu broke out, thousands died, but none died who were doing his exercise regimen. Some of the people that were in the camp were bedridden, and he was able to design, using the springs of the bed, he took them apart and attached them to the headboard and the footboard, thus allowing the patients that were in bed and could not do the exercises to do those exercises. And those springs are now used in some of the equipment that is used today in Pilates.
It's fascinating.
Yeah, I think he was ahead of his time. He believed that the reasons why we have health issues today were because of sedentary lifestyle, which I think is what we think now. Also poor posture, and he was also very into effective breathing. So he felt like inefficient breathing was also another factor in causing some of the health problems that people have.
So why is Pilates so beneficial for the baby boomer demographic?
So for baby boomers, as we get older, we tend to lose flexibility in our joints and in our spine. And Pilates is exceptionally good at helping you stabilize your joints, continue the range of motion that you have in your joints, and also promoting core strength. So it's an excellent exercise. There's no impact, and it's very good to maintain the kind of exercises routine that you have. Like, would you be doing, if you were playing tennis or doing something like running? As you get older, you want to be able to continue to do those exercises, and Pilates is a way to help do that.
And other benefits, if you're not a boomer or just for
other benefits for Pilates, well, it definitely improves your posture. It strengthens your back. It increases flexibility of the spine. Also, there's the breath component. So there is an element of relaxation, improved oxygenation, and it can lower your blood pressure as well.
That's incredible.
Yeah.
So let's take a look at Pilates in action.
I'm here right now with Leslie in my home studio, and I'm going to be having Leslie go through a few of the exercises to demonstrate some of the work that we do in Pilates. So you ready to get started? Ready. Okay, so Leslie is ready to start. We're going to start with ab prep, which is one of the very basic and beginning exercises in mat Pilates. We're going to be using an arc barrel, which is going to help Leslie work on perfecting her technique to focus on working her abdominal muscles. So Leslie, I'm just going to have you hold your head in your hands and just drape yourself over the arc barrel. Just going to keep a softness through the neck and through the shoulders. Using her breath now, she's going to exhale to flex up, folding at the rib cage, staying for an inhale to challenge herself, and then exhale to release back down. Again, breathing in, she's going to exhale, flexing up. Good. Staying for that breath to challenge, and then again, exhale, coming back down. To increase the intensity, I'm going to go faster. I'm going to have her exhale up, and then inhale to lengthen back down. So notice, keep going, keep knowing, as she goes up and down, she's really focusing on getting these muscles right here, okay? Very little tension in her neck and in her shoulders. Good, so let's just do one more. Inhale back and exhale. Coming up. Good. Go ahead and release back and take a stretch. I have Leslie set up on the reformer. She's going to be doing footwork. With footwork, we do use the springs. There are several different settings down there which I can adjust the tension. So this exercise, actually there's a series of exercises that we do. They strengthen not only the back, but they also strengthen the legs and the feet. So Leslie, I'm going to have you inhale to press the carriage out and then exhale to return the carriage. Good, keep going. Okay, just nice movement with the breath, nice and slow. One thing that's nice about the reformer work is she's working as she goes out, but also as she returns the carriage. Good, so she inhales to press out, exhales to come back in. Good, do one more like that. Good, so go all the way out and then come in. So now I'm going to show you a little bit more of how we can work your feet, okay? So she's going to inhale to press out. She's going to stay out. She's going to lower your heels, raising, and then returning the carriage. Good, so let's try that again. Lowering down, raising, and returning. One more, out. Let's go down, coming up, and return. So now Leslie is going to do the exercise called the offering. This exercise is very good for strengthening the shoulder girdle. What's nice about it is that when she's doing the movement, her shoulders are supported by the straps. So it gives a nice stretch and stability to the shoulder girdle. It also works on her posture because as she's moving, she's going to try to stabilize against the movement of the reformer. And finally, working her core as well. So again, putting the breath with movement, she's going to start by just exhaling to reach forward and inhale coming back. Good. So that's it. So she's going to try to stay nice and tall as her arms are moving. Good. So again, reaching forward and then coming back. Now adding on, she's going to reach and circle around. Again, trying to keep the shoulders low, really bracing through the center. And here you can really see how Pilates puts together not only strength, flexibility, but also working the core. One more. You finish. So now I'm going to have Leslie demonstrate one of the more advanced movements on the reformer. As you can see, we've gone from lying down on the reformer now to a standing position. So not only is she going to incorporate her core strength, but there's also the balance component. So Leslie, go ahead and just take an exhale, just pull your elbows towards you. Good, inhale, releasing back. Good, so keep going, all right? You can notice that she's working her arms, her shoulders, but also all of her abdominal muscles to stabilize against the movement of the reformer. And this exercise is an excellent example of demonstrating how the reformer can exercise you in positions that are not, crunches and some of the more traditional core exercises. In this position, she's standing and still able to work her core. Good, go ahead, just do one more. Nice work.
Okay, so would you explain for our viewers more about what we just saw in that video?
So when you look at the video, you can see, first of all, the breath component. You can see with every movement in Pilates, there's a breath in and a breath out, okay? So that helps with focus and control. So you see that part. The other part that you see is, for example, in the first part, where you are on that prop, that arc barrel, I'm able to assist you in really focusing on using your abdominal muscles to complete the exercise. When you look at the other ones, like when the other exercise when you're using the straps, you can see how one part of you is stable. So you're working to stabilize your core as you're moving your arms through the range of motion. So you're not only are you strengthening your core, but you're also strengthening your arms and your shoulder joint. And then finally, at the very end, you can see when you're pulling back, you're able to not only use your arms, not only use your core, but also there's that balance piece as well.
So would you say Pilates is effective for all ages, more or less?
I would definitely agree that it is effective for all ages, and I feel like that Pilates is something you can probably do for the rest of your life. Again, it's non-impact, and the exercises can be tailored to whatever issues you have in terms of strength or flexibility.
Are there multiple kinds of Pilates?
So, yes, there are. Joseph Pilates did not trademark his brand. So when he had his studio in New York City after he immigrated to the United States, those people that trained under him took it and then they devised their own version of Pilates. So there's several different kinds. I'm trained in Stop Pilates, which is a contemporary approach to the classical Pilates. What Stop Pilates does is it takes the basic part of Pilates and then they add the new information that we have now about physical therapy, sports medicine, and personal training and combine that all together to do the Stop Pilates.
So what would you say is the difference, I know it's rather obvious, but between the reformer and mat Pilates, because some of the things translate from one to the other?
Yes. So mat Pilates is done on a mat, and there are some small props, flexibility bands, or even a stability ball is used. But a same kind of thinking behind the exercises in terms of keeping good alignment, strengthening the core, and always incorporating breath. With the reformer or some of the other equipment that you can use, it's just you're using the same principles of Pilates in terms of keeping alignment and core, but now you're able to work your arms and legs a little differently.
So when someone's in a class, how long are they typically on the reformer? Because it's quite a workout.
It really can vary. It really can vary. Usually it's about 45 minutes to an hour in time.
I know during the demonstration I was on the reformer for just a few minutes and I could still feel, you know, the burn.
Yep.
It's a good workout.
Yes, it is.
So how does Pilates differ from yoga? Because oftentimes the two seem to be mentioned in the same breath.
Yes. Yoga is a discipline that is kind of started around spirituality and meditation. And there are poses, and you can definitely get a good stretching and strengthening from yoga. Pilates is very different. Joseph Pilates invented or came up with those exercises specifically to increase your overall strength, increase the strength around each one of your joints, to increase your core strength, and hopefully enhance your overall fitness. So it's a little bit of a different approach.
So a few minutes ago, we talked a little bit about baby boomers. Now, baby boomers are born between 1946 and 1964. Mm-hmm. So can you speak a little more to, if you had clients that are boomers, how their training might differ from the general population?
Yeah, I usually by the time you're over 50, you have some kind of issue, or even maybe something that had happened as a result of overtraining as well. So you either have a shoulder or a neck or a back or a foot issue. And Pilates is really good because it can be responsive to that and it can be tailored around that. So that's one good thing. The second thing, as I mentioned earlier, is that as we get older, we lose flexibility, and Pilates is a great way to strengthen your body and to keep the range of motion that you so badly need.
And how would the training be different, or is the training different for men and women?
In general, most of the time I see more women in classes, but Joseph Pilates was a man, and there really isn't much of a difference. Professional athletes, for example, LeBron James, he credits, of the Cavaliers, he credits his being able to keep his form from doing reformer Pilates. So there really isn't much of a difference.
If I'm a beginner, how do I get started?
I would think the first thing you'd want to do is to learn a little bit about Pilates. I think always looking on the internet is a great idea. You can also watch videos of what it looks like. You can look at a YouTube video. You can also check out the website. For mine, it would be Stop Pilates. They give a little bit of information about what Pilates is. And then go try a class. There are classes that are offered in fitness centers around the Andover area, and see if you like it.
That's good advice. Mm-hmm. So tell us, what is your greatest success story with a client with the use of Pilates?
I can think of two that have come to mind. I've had just a variety of different people, but I think the two that come to mind, I've had two people that have had very specific health issues going on in their life. And it was very rewarding to me. They were both undergoing treatment for cancer, and they were able to continue with going through Pilates while they were going through their treatment. It really gave them a sense of well-being and accomplishment. So I've had that, and I've also just had people come up to me and tell me after taking a mat class that their backs feel better, that they have better balance, that they're able to ski longer and have better endurance.
That's fabulous.
Yeah.
Tell us about the Powerhouse muscles and what they're used for.
So the Powerhouse muscles are the muscles that are in your lower back, in your hips, and in your abdominal muscles. So that is called the Powerhouse. And the stronger, I should back up to a second, the stronger your Powerhouse is, the stronger you're going to be, okay? So Pilates focuses on those particular muscles to really strengthen them. So you'll be able to lift more weights, you'll be able to run and do any other exercises or even just activities of daily living better.
That's incredible.
Yeah. It also prevents having a strong back too, and strengthening those muscles can prevent things like low back pain, which I know is common as well.
So if any of our viewers are inspired to try Pilates, what would be your advice before they get started? I know you mentioned watching the videos.
Yes. If you have specific concerns, especially about your back, you would definitely want to check it out with your doctor and make sure that Pilates is right for you, because there are some movements in Pilates that you have to be careful with. And you could also, if you did decide to go to a class, let the instructor know. So that would be the first thing. The second thing would be, in terms of what do you need, you really don't need anything. You wear comfortable clothes, you don't need shoes. And then to try a class out, I guess you could also try a video out. There's lots on the internet as well, just to kind of take a peek at it and see.
So now you have a lot of clients. Do they typically do things while they're doing the reformer, like say they're a tennis player and they do the reformer, or does it go hand in hand with a lot of...
Yes, yes, it does. As a matter of fact, as I mentioned a few minutes ago, professional athletes now use Pilates to enhance their recovery as well as injury prevention. But the recreational athlete can also get quite a bit from Pilates. The first exercise that comes to mind is outdoor cycling. It's excellent cardiovascular, excellent for your legs, and it's really good to be outside and ride. However, doing an exercise as you're leaning over a bike can cause back tightness and also a lot of tightness through your hips. So Pilates, one of the goals of Pilates is to balance your body. So if you were to take a Pilates class, as a cyclist, it would help you work to get yourself more upright, to work the back of the muscle, back side of your body, and also rotation and some side to side. So it would, complement, being an outdoor cyclist.
So Cathy, tell us about the mind-body connection that exists in Pilates.
Yes, the mind-body connection is what differentiates Pilates from some of the other exercises you may do. What I do in class and with clients is while they're exercising, talking about what does it feel like? Do you notice differences on one side of your body or the other? The goal of doing that is that if you feel different, it's teaching you, okay, yeah, my shoulder is tighter on this side than it is on this side. So how can I help you get your form better? How can I help you do a movement pattern better so that you can get rid of some of the tension or tightness in your shoulder and strengthen it effectively? And that awareness, what it does is it transfers, the client takes that and then goes to the rest of their day, and even when they're bending over to unload the dishwasher or on the tennis court, they're like, okay, yes, I need to commit, I need to keep my shoulder down, I need to keep my form a certain way to make my shoulder work the best that it can. So that's sort of the mind-body piece. It helps teach clients to move better and be more aware of how they move so that they can do whatever else they're doing more efficiently and safer for their body, hopefully preventing injury.
So I'm hearing too that there's quite a bit of customization when someone comes to your studio. You kind of look at them and the way they move and are able to tailor.
Yes. Yes, yeah. That is true. And basically watching how people move, you can get an idea of weaknesses and of strength. I would say, though, for probably 100%, if not 90% of the population, most of us are sitting on our phones. So most of the population is forward, our heads are forward, and we're very tight through our chest. So most of the exercises that I do are to lift you up, to get better posture, and to strengthen your back. And hopefully that'll get rid of some of the neck tension and back discomfort that many of us have.
So you can do that with the reformer?
With the reformer and with the mat, even just the mat exercises can do that as well. And what's nice about it is when you learn these exercises, you can then go to the weight room and keep that form, being more aware of your posture. So you can do squats better, bicep curls, whatever else you're doing. You have an idea of how to carry yourself and how to hopefully have better form to prevent injuries.
Interesting. Now, I've read that, students today spend so much time hunched over. They have eye problems, they have back problems, like you mentioned, neck problems.
Yes, yes.
So it seems like the reformer would be a safe home for them since, as we saw in the video, you can be lying.
Yes, it is.
And your neck is protected in between those bumpers.
Yes, that's very true. And a lot of us, we think that, I want to strengthen my abs, so I have to do, 50 crunches. And the nice thing about Pilates is you don't. We do a few, but it can help guide you so you don't get the neck tension, because if you do a lot of abdominal work, you end up getting a lot of head and forward flexion. So teaching you how to do abdominal work better, but also training, like we saw in the video, where you're in an upright position, because most of the time we are vertical, and training those muscles to keep you upright and have good posture. And that's also strengthening the core.
So do you have quite a few clients that come to your Pilates reformer classes that are seniors?
Yes, I do. I'd say most people are, 40 and above. I do have some clients that are, well into their 60s and are doing the Pilates exercises just as well as people who are much younger.
Any standouts?
I have a few. I have one woman I can think of in particular that can pretty much do anything on the reformer, and I'm continually impressed with the fact that, she's very flexible, more flexible than a lot of my younger clients that I see, and has better core strength and better form.
And she's a senior?
Yes, and she's a senior, yes.
I love those stories.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Well, would you be able to summarize for our viewers the total benefits of Pilates for any age group, anyone looking for an effective fitness regimen?
Yes. So, in terms of fitness and getting healthy, there's cardio, there's strength training, and then there's the flexibility piece. And I think the flexibility piece kind of gets pushed off to the side for most of us in terms of time. But, you know, Pilates is a very effective way to really increase your flexibility, increase the strength of the smaller muscles in your shoulders and in your hips, and also to really, really strengthen your core. And as I mentioned earlier, I really believe that doing the Pilates exercises can make you better at whatever you are going to be doing, whether it is cycling or running, or if it's just yard work or sitting at your desk, because it increases your posture and it hopefully will, you know, decrease any of the associated, you know, ailments that come along with aging. I think too that Pilates also really supports us, because I know for me, I want to keep running, I want to play tennis, I don't want to stop doing the stuff that I loved to do when I was younger, and I think Pilates can also help you do that.
Fabulous. Well, thank you so much for answering all our questions. And now you've heard it from an expert. If you're looking for a new fitness regimen, look no further than Pilates. There are many studios around town, and as Cathy mentioned, you can check it out online, look at some videos, and see what is a fit for you. Thanks so much for joining us. See you next time on Boomer Being.